welcome to the CNBC TV 18 special. I'm Shereen, Bhan, and we're in a special conversation with the new man at the helm of Microsoft India, Ananth Maheshwari. Ananth, thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18, and congratulations on your new role here at Microsoft. Over a decade at Honeywell and now at Microsoft, which is in the phase of disrupting itself as well. What's the experience been like so far for you?
Amazing. I think 4 or 5 months back, as I was moving in, I was sharing with a few friends as to how I'm really looking to learn once again as I joined Microsoft. And last 4 months has been an incredible transition period for me because it's so much to learn at the company, so much innovation happening, a big cultural transformation in play. Globally, we're doing so many new things. Analysts and all the leaders around the world in the tech industry are talking about how Microsoft is really the company to watch going forward. So it's exciting to be in the place at this time, and especially in the context of India. Because if you look at Microsoft's vision of empowering individuals and organizations across the planet to do more, that's just such a deep mission. And looking at what we're going through in India in terms of the digital transformation, couldn't have been a better time to come on board.
You know, since you're talking about India and you're talking about Microsoft getting its mojo back, that's the headline that I think captures what's happened at Microsoft since Satya Nadella took over in 2014. But specifically in the India context, there have been several things that have happened. The big one being the 3 data centers that Microsoft has decided to set up here in India. We're at the start of a new calendar year in 2017. If I ask you about software revenue, if I ask you about the kind of client additions that you expect, you know, yes, the mobile first, cloud first has been the philosophy, not just for you, but pretty much everybody in this space. How does 2017 gear up?
So for us, we're in the middle of our financial year. We run a July to June calendar, as you know. So we are really reassessing ourselves as to how we've done in the first half of the year and how do we go forward in the second half of the year.
So how have you done in the first half?
Very good. I have to say that we had pretty stiff targets to go get, and we are continuing to go at them and ahead of them. So it clearly shows the digital transformation that's happening in the country. If I just take the different segments of the market, you look at the large enterprise part of the market. Although cloud is new to the market, more than 50 of the top 100 BSE companies are already using the Microsoft Cloud. So that's very, very encouraging. And then the government. Digital India. I think the cloud is such an empowering place for the governments, both central and state government, to drive core initiatives, core transformation of the economy through the cloud. So I see a lot of interesting new work in all of 3 areas. The one thing that I would say is different in this wave than what Microsoft may have seen and any other IT industry partner or vendor would have seen in the past is it's moving away from pure play products to full digital transformation solutions. So one of the key things that is going to be different in this wave as we see compared to what Microsoft or any other IT industry partner or vendor may have experienced in the past is rather than thinking about products and platforms that may pre-exist, it's a lot of customization and digital transformation solutions that's coming through. Now those can be different use cases for each of the kinds of customers that we are working with. It could be to engage with customers better. It could be to empower employees to do a lot more. It can be to optimize operations and get much better efficiencies inside their business models, or completely reimagine the products that they offer to their customers to think through solutions and services very, very differently. So I would say totally depends on the use cases.
Okay, so you know, you talked about numbers, and you talked about being able to even exceed the targets that you had set out for the company. I'm just taking a look at some reports which suggest, and these are ROC filings for the year 2015-16, where your turnover has risen to about 912 million. Profitability at 40 million and cash on books at about 199 odd million. So what can we now expect for this particular year?
So the numbers, of course, are dependent on exactly different models of business. The ones that are very specific to the subsidiary here where we do a lot of business. But some of the customers also have global models, and they work with us across different geographies. So it depends on the blended one.
For standalone for Microsoft India?
So I would say overall for Microsoft India, without specifically going into any of those numbers, I think we're definitely seeing growing at above industry rates in India. I definitely...
Is that the NASSCOM industry rate?
I would not call out on one aspect there, because I think we have the ability to play in multiple segments. So as I said, the three bold ambitions of the company globally are to reinvent business and the productivity processes that companies may have. It is to completely think about more personal computing and not just computers or other form factors that people may be computing today, but more personal computing broadly. And third is being the leader of the intelligent cloud. So if you look at those three bold ambitions, we are playing in very, very different spaces. And the blend of those is what we see really playing out for many of our customers and partners. And that's where I think the momentum is coming for Microsoft, because we do provide an end-to-end solution that is flexible, that is scalable, and it's hyper secure.
You know, speaking of one of the big levers that you hope to leverage on, and that is the sort of SMB space here in India, which everybody is going after, post the 8th November notification and this move towards a cashless India and so on and so forth, what has been the impact that you've seen on the ground?
So I would say in the beginning, which is very, very short term right now, we're only 2 months from that point in time, there was a lot of reaction in the market, because there was a certain way of doing business that had to change. I think over the last few weeks, we've really seen the ability, both in our partner ecosystem and the customer ecosystem, to think even more bold and different in terms of how they would do things going forward. Now, as I was saying earlier, there could be 4 use cases of starting that journey. As they go forward in this journey in digital transformation, very likely they're likely to think about 3 big areas to scale. One is just the hyperscale of computing. Second is security. Very, very important in this world, because the levels of security and what can go wrong is we are recognizing today across the world. And third is flexibility. Today, I think Microsoft is uniquely positioned in India, not just globally, in India, to have our own data centers, to have our own cybersecurity engagement center, one of 7 globally that's in India, working closely with the Indian government and large enterprises. And also, the only one to be able to offer either a public cloud or a private cloud or a flexible cloud, which is the hybrid cloud. Also thinking in terms of the kind of solutions that people may offer in different parts of their own IT architecture. So we are kind of in a unique place of really thinking it end to end with lots of choices.
So since you talked about cybersecurity, and this of course is going to be the big play now, especially as we move towards this business of digitization, and you've clearly got an advantage there. What's the traction that you've seen in the last 2 months specifically on that front?
Big time, and you may call it an advantage, but I think 10 years back, when Microsoft was the biggest target for, I think, hackers around the world, we may have seen it as a disadvantage. But if you really look back, and I think the experience that Microsoft has gained over the last decade plus play in this arena, is that we truly are at the cutting edge, working with international cybercrime agencies, Interpol and the others, working through different forms of cybercrime that's happening. That's what got us last year, I think the conversation that Satya had with a few of the leading players in the government to open the Cybersecurity Engagement Center in India. We opened that in October in India, partnership with the government, with the IT ministry, with a lot of other players. And we are seeing it already in the last 2.5 months. The calendar is full at the Cybersecurity Engagement Center. It's not just the government agencies that are coming in and participating with us in working at it. A lot of enterprises have come through with their full management teams to go through the Cybersecurity Engagement Center.
So if it is an area of concern, what does it then mean in terms of enterprise spending on being able to secure themselves, being able to fortify themselves, and being able to digitize? I mean, what is the trend that you're now seeing in terms of IT budgets, for instance?
So more than budgets, I think it's structure that one has to think about first. In the past, we've kind of taken the physical world analogy of putting locks on doors and translated that into the security world, saying, let me bolt on some security into some IT architecture I may already have. That needs to change first. The second different paradigm today is to, again, in the past, the security paradigm used to be detect, then respond. But before that, it was protect. I would say protect is again passé, or prevent is passé. You have to assume that there is some form of intrusion that already is there in your IT architecture. So your focus has to be a very quick cycle of detect, respond, is the way it needs to be. And that's where again we've had our focus working with our customers of different scale as to how they can do that. And finally, I would say 2 years back, even I would think, as I would think about my personal mobility device and say, should I put this on the cloud? This is personal data. I have privacy concerns. Who might look at this data and so on? If I look at the enterprise CEOs today, many of them are moving to the cloud because of security. Because they recognize today that individually for each one of them, it's not possible to invest and create resources in their organization, which is where the budgets come in, that you have to just continuously try to stay ahead of the game. It will be difficult for them. While if they go on to a hyperscale global cloud, like the Microsoft cloud, we do this for a living. We think about this all the time. And therefore, for security reasons, people are moving to cloud rather than staying away from it.
Well, time for us to take a break, but when we return, we continue our conversation with Microsoft India's Ananth Maheshwari. Stay on with us.